Everybody in this room has this unique opportunity to live out your dream. And the journey that we're about to go on is going to be a hard journey. We're going to be challenged at every turn. The expectations are going to be high. The standards are going to be high. The accountability is going to be high. I make a pledge to you. Our staff makes a pledge to you. Make a pledge to yourself and to each other. We'll hold ourselves and each other accountable to those standards.
It's the final week of the regular season. It's time once again for another edition of the Jason Garrett Show, powered by Reliant Energy. Bill Jones along with Cowboys head coach Jason Garrett inside the Academy Sports and Outdoor Studios here at the Star in Frisco. It's the Cowboys and the Eagles. It's a noon kickoff Dallas time on Sunday. And, of course, the disappointment after the loss to the Seattle Seahawks last week. And I wonder, Jason, after the players had a couple of days off to start this week, the message to the team to finish strong, what was the message that you gave to the team?
You know, something we try to instill in our team really every minute of every day is be your best regardless of circumstances. And, you know, so much has gone into our season, and it was a disappointing loss against Seattle, and the playoff hopes have died at that point. But you gotta pull yourself up by your bootstraps, and you got to get back to work. And the players were off on Monday and Tuesday, but came back to work on Wednesday and got their minds right and got going again. We had a good week of practice, and guys approaching it the right way. We're excited about this opportunity.
Of course, there's huge disappointment not making the playoffs, but when I look at the way this team is put together, not only this season, but over the last several seasons, the investment that the players and the coaching staff makes in this team and in each particular game, every game is important regardless of the circumstances. Right?
Yeah, no question about it. And, you know, every time you go out there, you're representing yourself as an individual coach, an individual player, and ultimately for us as a football team. So prepare the right way and go play the best football we can on Sunday.
All right, frigid playing conditions on Sunday, and the forecast should be in the 20s. You got Ezekiel Elliott back last week, and of course the run game will be big in this game.
No question about it. And you know, that's how this team has been built up front. You know, a big, strong offensive line to be able to run the football. Zeke does that as well as anybody in the National Football League. He did a good job last week in the game against Seattle, you know, allowing us to control the game in a lot of ways. And so he'll get some more work this week. And like you said, with the conditions, running the football well will be a premium.
Of course, turnovers, as you say, time and time again, line one turnovers, and that was the big thing, I think, when you look back at last week's game, right? The three takeaways for Seattle.
Yeah, no question about it. I think in so many ways we did so many positive things in all three phases of our team. You know, I think physically we played hard, we played tough. I think in so many ways we were able to control the line of scrimmage. You know, defensively we gave them 136 total yards. But all that stuff is irrelevant if you don't take care of the football. And, you know, we had a fumble that was knocked out that they converted into a touchdown. They intercepted a ball and ran it in for a touchdown. And then on the second interception, they were able to convert that into a score as well. So, you know, all of their points came off of our turnovers. And regardless of what you're doing, you know, the rest of the game, that's the stuff that stands out, line one, if you will.
Settling for field goals. Where do you see things last week as far as the red zone difficulties on offense?
Again, you're just a combination of things. We ran the ball really well. I thought we threw the ball fairly well at different times in drives to get us down in there close. But, you know, if you look at those drives, we had a penalty or a sack that got us behind the chains. And now you're swimming upstream. You're trying to just get yourself back into field goal range. So we had done a good job playing efficient football in the run and pass game up to that point. And we just made some errors. And you know, give them credit. That's a good defensive team. They have something to do with that as well. But ultimately not able to cash in. That certainly hurt us in this ball game.
And, of course, you lost Tyron Smith early in that game. How did Byron Bell grade out?
You know, Byron hung in there. It's a good front. They got a lot of good rushers, and, you know, he hung in there pretty well. I thought we did a good job, you know, blocking for the run. Different times in the passing game, we didn't do quite as good a job. I think that hurt our efficiency in the passing game, whether it was a matchup up front or identifying a potential rusher. So, you know, those are the things that kind of jumped out at us that hurt us in the passing game and ultimately hurt us in this game.
All right, we're just getting started here on the Jason Garrett Show. Up next, it's David Moore of the Dallas Morning News.
The Jason Garrett Show, presented by Reliant, is brought to you by AT&T, mobilizing your world. Ford is the best in Texas. The Salvation Army, doing the most good. The University of North Texas, proud partner of the Dallas Cowboys. And by Reliant, an NRG company. This segment is brought to you by the Dallas Morning News. Nobody does sports like Sports Day. Your home for complete Dallas Cowboys coverage.
Welcome back to the Jason Garrett Show, powered by Reliant Energy. Bill Jones now joined as usual by David Moore of the Dallas Morning News, SportsDayDFW.com. A rarity of late in that Cowboys locker room this week is back on Wednesday. Dez Bryant talked to the media, and you were there to hear what Dez had to say. What's his take on things?
Spoke nearly 15 minutes. It was a wide-ranging interview. He took responsibility for the fumble in the loss to Seattle, said he was trying to dig his head into the guy's chest, lost control of the ball, said the interception that went through his hands down on the 20 and was intercepted, he took blame for that as well. He said he should have caught that ball. And then when he spoke about his season in general, he said that he's allowed frustrations with football and off the football field infect him this year. He kept talking about controlling things I can control and that how he hasn't necessarily done a good job of that. He indicated that there are no issues whatsoever with the chemistry between him and Dak. He indicated, without coming out and giving specifics, that the scheme is what he's frustrated with. He doesn't believe he's getting enough opportunities. He said this is something he'll discuss with owner Jerry Jones, head coach Jason Garrett, and offensive coordinator Scott Linehan in the offseason. Also said he understands that people are saying, well, are you going to need to take a pay cut to stay? He said that doesn't bother him. He's not inclined to take a pay cut by any means, but also stressed that I'm a Texas boy. I want to be with the Cowboys. Really just kind of try to sum up what has been a frustrating season for him and where this team is now heading into this final game.
All right, where's the mindset of the players going into this final game, which otherwise, as far as playoff implications, obviously is a meaningless game? How do they look at it?
Well, it's meaningless as far as the playoffs, but I find this amusing because fans get frustrated with this, and they'll get frustrated with a player's performance in a game and talk about, well, it didn't mean enough. And now they're talking about, well, you go out and you play for pride, and this is what you're paid for, and you want to do the best you can. And people say, well, why? What's there to play for? Dak made a point of saying, look, I don't want to end 2017 like I played on the field against Seattle. Ezekiel Elliott made similar comments. And just like anyone in any job, just because you're not going to reach the ultimate goal doesn't mean you're not paid to be professional and doesn't mean you don't have the professional pride to go out there and try your best in that situation. And I think you'll see that with one proviso. I think you'll see different rotations in this game. I think certain guys will get more of a look than they would, obviously, if this game had any playoff seeding implications.
All right, David Moore, we appreciate it. Up next here on the Jason Garrett Show, Mickey Spagnola with a special guest.
This segment was brought to you by the Dallas Morning News. Nobody does sports like Sports Day. Your home for complete Dallas Cowboys coverage.
Welcome back to the Jason Garrett Show, powered by Reliant Energy. Bill Jones inside the Academy Sports and Outdoor Studios here at the Star. Now it's time to head down the hallway to Ford Center. Mickey Spagnola has a very special guest.
Thanks, Bill. I am with the Cowboys backup quarterback Cooper Rush. I don't want to say you're the forgotten guy on this team, but you haven't had a chance to play much. And I was just wondering, when's the last time you just probably went through a football season and really didn't get to hardly play at all?
Yeah, it's definitely been a few years. Probably the redshirt year in college. A lot of kind of similarities. Once I got bumped up to that 2 spot, then you're ready to play each week.
Yeah. So let's start here. When you signed with the Cowboys, a rookie, undrafted rookie free agent, what was your goal, or what did you think how this thing was going to turn out?
Yeah, my main goal and focus, I wanted to make that 53-man roster. That was the first and foremost. I didn't want to settle for practice squad. I wanted to make them have to put me on the 53, and that was my goal from the start. And was real happy that I accomplished that. And then now you just keep striving for new goals. Yeah,
you were able to accomplish that. You end up moving up to the backup quarterback. The first game you did, you actually got, 12 snaps against San Francisco. I think you got a few more against Philadelphia at the end of those games. So it was a little bit, but how much do you think you developed or learned by, just kind of not playing but practicing and watching?
Yeah, it's big time in practice when you're going against the first defense, a real NFL defense. Everyone runs the same type of plays, so you're still going through types of reads that you do if you're starting. So I feel like I've made some major progress in that area, and then just being around the NFL meetings and the offense and getting more and more comfortable with it each week.
So you were one of those quarterbacks that stayed in college, got to play 4 years.
Mm-hmm.
How much do you think that extra time there, those snaps in college helped you? Because there's going to be a lot of quarterbacks right now that have to make a decision. Do I stay or do I come out?
For me, it was huge because, every game, all 50 of them, each game you learn something new. There's a new situation, 2-minute drill, different situations throughout a game, 3rd down, 4-minute, things like that. Crucial parts of games that, you went through. And so you're just more familiar with those situations, know how to handle them, and keep your poise through them.
Yeah, and Dak kind of did the same thing too,
exactly.
spending that extra year in college. And like I said, there's going to be some quarterbacks now that have to make that decision. But it sounds like, everybody's different, right? But your advice is you can learn a heck of a lot more getting more snaps in college.
Yeah, you'll every game you just keep learning, no matter what level. You never know it all, and that's something you always got to remember.
Okay, Cooper Rush, Cowboys backup quarterback. Thank you very much. Bill, back to you.
All right, thanks, Mickey. Up next here on the Jason Garrett Show, the coach rejoins me, and we take a look at these Philadelphia Eagles and the defensive star Fletcher Cox. Time to go behind enemy lines here on the Jason Garrett Show with Will McClay, Cowboys Vice President of Player Personnel. The Eagles can run the football. Let's start with, how about LeGarrette Blount?
Yeah, the Eagles are the 5th ranked rushing offense in the league. People don't think that, but they run the zone scheme. They run inside zone, outside zone. They use their backs very well. We're going to take a look at LeGarrette Blount here. They're going to run an inside zone here. They're going to take the tight end. He's going to go kick out. This guy's going to go here. He's going to go here. And then they're going to try and run the ball inside using LeGarrette Blount's ability. What he wants to do is get north and south. So we'll take a look at it. You get the motion, comes back, kicks back out. They try and confuse the defense, but there's the crease. You see him here, the patience, and then he finds the crease inside. It's the inside zone. Settle, now explode and get vertical. Now he gets to the second level. He's a hard man to tackle at the second level.
All right, they got LeGarrette Blount, and they also have Jay Ajayi, the product of Frisco Liberty High School.
Yeah, a little bit smaller, but he's still a big back. Now, what they want to do with him is they want to use, they use him in wide zones. He's got great lateral quickness. He gets upfield, north and south. But here they're going to run the wide zone. They're going to pull this center who's very athletic, and he's the key to this. But watch him get to the second level. See here. They go down, they pull the center, center's up on the back, or the receiver cracks, nobody touches him. It's great patience, it's great blocking set up by them, and they have space. Now, a way to stop that is, what you're going to do is, we play with edges. You have to create edges on the defense and not give him anywhere to go. What happens is, a downhill back, when they have to go north and south, he put him in neutral, you have an opportunity to stop him. And you'll see that because we get the edges. They'll pull the center like on the last play, Jalen will meet him, will bump here where the lineman can't get up to the linebacker, and then Hitchens closes it off, and then we have an edge set. He has nowhere to go. Take a look at it. Okay, you'll see Jalen attack the center. Boom, makes him stop his feet. The edge is set. Now we can rally around and get to it. Key to stopping this zone run is penetration, making them go lateral and not vertical.
So it'll be key run defense for the Cowboys on Sunday.
No question. They're going to want to run the ball to set up the pass. They're going to try and burn the clock, so they're going to run the football. We need to stop it and get after him.
The guy that's coming in, Foles, he's got a great background, great track record in this league. And, boy, we got a ton of respect for him.
Our thanks, as usual, to Will McClay, the Cowboys Vice President of Player Personnel, now rejoined by Jason Garrett here inside the Academy Sports and Outdoor Studios. The run game for the Eagles, it's been big for them this season. You talk about Jay Ajayi, who they acquired in midseason, LeGarrette Blount, even Corey Clement as well. How important is it to stop the run on Sunday?
Well, it's critical, and that's really it's been the bread and butter for them offensively this year. Obviously, their quarterback play has been outstanding, but everything they do on offense starts with their running game. And you mentioned it, they got 2 big backs in Blount and Ajayi, and then Clement comes in and just does an outstanding job for them. So it's a 3-headed monster. It starts there. They run from under center. They run from the shotgun. They run inside. They run outside. And then everything they get off of that in their play-action game and their naked game, really complements, them attacking defenses. And they've done an excellent job all year long. We got to stop the run first.
And, of course, as far as the Eagles are concerned, Carson Wentz was really having an MVP-type season. Now they've got Nick Foles, which we'll see what that does as far as the dynamics of the postseason goes. But what about the way their offense runs with Nick Foles at the controls compared to Wentz? Is there much difference?
You know, they're both really talented guys. You know, if you're making a comparison, you might say that Carson Wentz is maybe a little bit more mobile. They have some design quarterback runs. He gets out of the pocket maybe a little bit more than Foles does. But, you know, he did such a great job, Carson did, when he was playing, throwing the ball from the pocket as well. And like I said, so much of it is off of play action. They do that. They stand in there and they make plays. They've become a much more vertical passing team than they were last year. Last year was getting the ball out. Now they've taken some shots down the field, and they've paid big dividends for them. And Foles has certainly been able to do that as well.
How big has Alshon Jeffrey been for them?
Well, certainly he's very big to begin with, and he's a mismatched player. He has been throughout his whole career, and like I said, so much of it, the play action, the shot down the field, goes to a guy like that. And you know, you leave him out there by himself with a corner. He's a mismatched guy. He's bigger than everybody, and they've done a nice job giving him some chances, and he's cashed in for him.
And then the Eagles on defense, of course, they're led up front by Fletcher Cox.
Yeah, you know, the front four is outstanding. You know, Fletcher Cox is as good as defensive lineman as there is in the National Football League, but it's more than him. You know, Brandon Graham is tough, and Jernigan is tough, and you know, the guy from Marshall's tough, and then they bring Long in, and he's tough. So they got a lot of guys that they bring in, and they do a good job defending the run, best in the National Football League. Then they get after the passer, and one of the things that helps them is they don't have to rush a lot of guys. That front four typically gets home, so be a big challenge for our guys up front.
How about your defense? You look over the course of the last 4 games. It's now 4 straight games where defensively they've given up 17 or fewer points. What's been the big turnaround for the defense?
You know, I think the growth of a lot of the younger players. You know, we've had some young guys playing in the secondary, a couple of young guys playing up front. And I think they're just getting more and more comfortable, you know, with what we're asking them to do. And I think we've been more fundamentally sound, more experience those guys have gotten. And I think as much as anything else, we've been really physical up front, physical as tacklers, and we've minimized big plays. So we're certainly making opposing offenses earn it, and that's been good for our football team.
And it was great to see Taco Charlton last week with a sack and then the play they made on the sideline, too.
Yeah, he played his best ball game, and again, he's probably one of the guys I'm talking about, understanding what we're asking him to do. Did a better job not rushing around the quarterback, level rushes, you know, got to Russell Wilson one time, and like you said, made a really nice play on the screen, too. So he's starting to show up a little bit more.
All right. Our final unsung star of the regular season on the Jason Garrett Show continues in a moment. Final couple of minutes here of the Jason Garrett Show, powered by Reliant Energy, inside the Academy Sports and Outdoor Studios, and time for our regular weekly feature, the Unsung Star of the Week. It is the final road trip of the season. So the Unsung Star of the Week, your Assistant Director of Football Operations, that would be the great Craig Gleber. You talk about a guy, in fact, I guess in football parlance, he would be one of those flatliners, okay? He's got a disposition that's just perfect for all that goes on the road, all the things that can go wrong on the road. He stands in the pocket, he's calm in the pocket, he executes.
You know, he truly is unsung. You know, we've been talking all year long that he's not unsung to us, but, you know, the position that he's in, you know, sometimes those guys don't get appreciated as much as they need to. And Glebes, he's been in this organization for a long, long time, and he does a phenomenal job. Like you said, there's a lot of people that get involved in every road trip. You're dealing with planes and hotels and buses and all of that stuff, and invariably things, you know, go wrong. There's a hiccup here and there, but, you know, Glebes handles it beautifully. He keeps all those things to a minimum, and he's one of those guys in life that, you know, he's the ultimate under-promise and over-deliver guy. You know, he always says, you know, we'll see if we can do that, and then boom, whatever you ask for, he gives it to you tenfold. So he's one of my favorite people, and he does an outstanding job for us, and he certainly is unsung, but really well appreciated.
And of course, he is the son of one of my idols growing up, Frank Gleber, who is the voice of the Cowboys going way back to the 60s, and then, of course, a CBS sports broadcaster as well. So I think we will agree. That is one of the best unsung stars of this season.
Yeah, he's something else. We love Craig Gleber.
All right, Jason, have a happy new year. You have a happy new year, and we will be back here again next week for another edition of the Jason Garrett Show.
The Jason Garrett Show, presented by Reliant, was brought to you by Ford. Ford is the best in Texas. Bank of America, the official bank of the Dallas Cowboys. Susan G. Komen, reminding you that early detection saves lives. Miller Lite, the only beer of the Cowboys. Geico, 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. and by NFL Game Pass. You'll never miss a game again. Enjoy full access to coaches' films and game replays from Week 1 to the Super Bowl. Subscribe at DallasCowboys.com/Game Pass.